The multiverse was not meant to be touched by mortal hands, yet Wanda Maximoff had shattered that rule 1,000 times over. In the spaces between realities where existence itself became negotiable, she had searched for them, Billy and Tommy, the sons stolen from her by the cruel mathematics of broken timelines. Every universe she tore through brought nothing but empty cradles and shattered hope. Until the moment her chaos magic, raw and grieving and furious, punched through a barrier that should never have been breached. The fabric of space screamed. Above the volcanic hellscape of Mustafar, reality itself split open like a wound. Crimson energy, not the familiar red of lightsabers or blaster fire, but something older, wilder, fundamentally wrong, bled into the Star Wars galaxy. The rift pulsed with chaotic power that made the Force itself recoil, ripples of disturbance racing outward at faster than light speeds. On Coruscant, the Emperor's yellow eyes snapped open in his meditation chamber. On the Executor, Darth Vader's meditation was shattered by a disturbance unlike anything he had felt in decades. Across the galaxy, every Force-sensitive being, Jedi survivor, Inquisitor, untrained child, felt reality itself shudder. Wanda fell. She plummeted through Mustafar's toxic atmosphere, her body wreathed in scarlet energy that flickered and sparked against this universe's physical laws. The chaos magic that had always answered her call now felt wrong, sluggish. The threads of reality she normally commanded with thought alone resisted her touch, as if this entire galaxy was woven from fundamentally different fabric. Panic seized her, not the panic of falling, but the terror that she had finally gone too far, that she was trapped in a dimension where her power meant nothing. Then she hit the ground. The impact crater she created in Mustafar's obsidian plain measured 50 meters across. Lava flows diverted around the sphere of crimson energy that had cushioned her landing. For a moment, Wanda simply lay there, breathing air that tasted of sulfur and ash, staring up at a night sky filled with unfamiliar stars. Not her universe, not any universe she had touched before. The realization settled into her bones with the weight of absolute truth. "Billy," her voice cracked. "Tommy?" Only the hiss of lava rivers answered. Wanda pushed herself to her feet, crimson energy crackling around her fingers as she reached for the familiar comfort of her power. The chaos magic responded, but it felt like trying to swim through honey. Something in this universe, some pervasive energy field that saturated every atom of space, interfered with her abilities. She could feel it now, pressing against her consciousness like a vast ocean. The Force. It felt aware, ancient, watching. Before she could process this new sensation, the sky split with the roar of atmospheric entry. Wanda's head snapped up to see 3 angular ships screaming toward her position. TIE fighters, though she had no name for them yet. They circled her crater like predatory birds, and then, with a precision that spoke of military discipline, they opened fire. Emerald energy bolts lanced toward her. Instinct saved Wanda's life. Her hands came up, chaos magic flaring into a hexagonal shield that caught the blaster fire and converted the energy into harmless light. But the effort cost her more than it should have. In her universe, she could have simply wished the ships from the sky. Here, she had to work for every miracle. The TIE fighters broke formation, clearly shocked that their target had survived the first volley. Wanda didn't give them a second chance. She thrust her hands forward, sending tendrils of scarlet energy lancing upward. The chaos magic wrapped around the nearest TIE fighter and simply rewrote it. Metal became flower petals that scattered in the superheated wind. The other 2 ships banked hard, pilots screaming into their comms about a witch, about impossible power, about a code red emergency. Wanda pulled the second ship from the sky with a gesture, crumpling it like paper. The third managed to flee, disappearing into the volcanic haze. She watched it go, breathing hard. That had taken too much energy. In her world, destroying 3 aircraft wouldn't have made her break a sweat. Whatever this energy field was, this force, it was suppressing her, forcing her to burn through her reserves faster. She needed to understand this place, needed to find out if her sons could exist here, The force screamed a warning. Wanda spun as a massive Imperial shuttle descended through the ash clouds, flanked by a squadron of TIE fighters that kept a respectful distance. The shuttle landed 100 meters from her crater, its boarding ramp extending with mechanical precision. For a moment, nothing happened. Then they emerged. 6 figures in black armor, their faces hidden behind masks that looked like predatory insects. They moved with the fluid confidence of trained killers, and Wanda could feel something radiating from them. That same pervasive energy, but focused, weaponized. Lightsabers ignited with that distinctive snap hiss, blades of crimson and amber casting dancing shadows across the volcanic rock. The Inquisitors had arrived. "Surrender in the name of the Galactic Empire," the lead Inquisitor commanded, his voice mechanically distorted. "You will be taken into custody and questioned about the nature of your abilities." Wanda's eyes blazed scarlet. "I'm looking for my children, 2 boys. Have you seen them?" The Inquisitors exchanged glances. The leader took a step forward. "We are not here to answer your questions, Witch. The disturbance you caused has been felt across the galaxy. You will come with us, or you will be destroyed." "Wrong answer." Wanda's hands moved in a fluid pattern, and reality around the Inquisitors began to shift. The ground beneath their feet turned to quicksand. Gravity inverted. Their lightsabers flickered as chaos magic interfered with the energy matrices. 2 Inquisitors immediately sank into the liquefied stone. Their screams cut short as Wanda solidified it again, trapping them to their waists. But these were not ordinary soldiers. The remaining 4 spread out with tactical precision, using the force to leap clear of Wanda's reality warping zone. They came at her from 4 directions simultaneously, lightsaber blades singing through the air. The battle that followed would become legend in Imperial records. Wanda created barriers of crystallized reality that shattered lightsabers on contact. She turned volcanic rock into swarms of obsidian ravens that dove at the Inquisitors with razor talons. When one got close enough to attempt a decapitating strike, she caught his lightsaber blade in her bare hand. Chaos magic rewriting the photons and energy into harmless light, and then rewrote him, turning the Inquisitor's armor into stone while he was still wearing it. The 3 remaining Inquisitors fell back, regrouping. The leader spoke urgently into his comlink. "Fortress Vader, this is Inquisitor Command. We need immediate reinforcement. Target displays force abilities beyond anything in our database. Requesting." Wanda gestured and his comlink exploded. "I told you," she said, her voice carrying across the battlefield with unnatural clarity. "I'm looking for my children. I will tear this entire planet apart if I have to. So either tell me where they are, or get out of my way." The Inquisitors shared a look that Wanda had seen before, the look of trained warriors realizing they were outmatched. They ignited their lightsabers again, but this time they didn't attack. They simply held position, waiting. Wanda felt it before she saw it, a darkness in the Force so profound it made the Inquisitor's presence feel like candle flames before a sun. The air itself seemed to grow heavier. Her chaos magic flickered and sparked against a will that pressed down on reality itself like an iron fist. A new ship descended through the ash clouds, a Lambda-class shuttle, pristine black, its arrival heralded by the terrified retreat of every other Imperial vessel in the area. The shuttle landed with ominous precision. The boarding ramp extended. Darth Vader emerged. He He was a mountain of black armor and flowing cape, his breathing a mechanical rhythm that sounded like death itself. The Inquisitors immediately dropped to one knee, heads bowed in submission. Vader ignored them, his masked gaze fixed entirely on Wanda. For a long moment, neither spoke. Wanda could feel the force radiating from him like heat from a star, dark, controlled, absolutely lethal. And beneath it, buried so deep she almost missed it, pain, rage, grief that mirrored her own. "You do not belong here," Vader said, his voice a bass rumble through his vocabulator. "I don't belong anywhere," Wanda replied, her hands glowing with barely restrained power. "Not anymore." Vader's head tilted slightly, studying her. "The Force is disturbed by your presence. You wield power that does not exist in this galaxy. Yet I sense no training, no discipline, only raw emotion, rage, loss." He paused. "Grief." Wanda's eyes narrowed. "You know nothing about my grief." "Do I not?" Vader's hand moved to his lightsaber. "I know what it means to lose everything. I know what it means to search for what can never be recovered. I know what it means to burn for it." The lightsaber ignited, a blade of pure crimson that hummed with barely contained violence. Wanda's power flared in response, chaos magic swirling around her in a cyclone of scarlet energy. "I've killed gods before. If you stand between me and finding my children, I'll kill you too." "Then let us see," Vader said, "if your power is sufficient." Vader moved with impossible speed for something so massive. His lightsaber came down in an overhead strike that would have cleaved Wanda in half, but she was already moving, chaos magic propelling her sideways as the blade carved through volcanic rock like paper. She responded with a blast of hex energy that could have leveled a city block. Vader raised his hand, and the Force answered. The hex bolt struck an invisible barrier and dissipated into harmless sparks. Before Wanda could process this, she felt invisible fingers close around her throat, the Force crushing her windpipe from across the battlefield. She had felt telekinesis before. This was different. Vader's will pressed against her like a physical weight, trying to collapse her airways, to squeeze the life from her body. Wanda's vision began to darken, then her chaos magic surged in pure defensive instinct. Reality around Vader's Force grip simply denied his power. The telekinetic hold shattered. Wanda dropped to her knees, gasping, but her eyes blazed with furious scarlet light. "My turn," she snarled. Wanda's hands moved in intricate patterns, and the battlefield itself turned against Vader. The ground beneath him transformed into grasping hands of stone. The air around him became thick as tar. Volcanic rock rose up to entomb him in a sarcophagus of obsidian. She poured her power into the assault, rewriting reality faster than even the Force could compensate. The stone tomb sealed shut. For 3 heartbeats, silence. Then cracks appeared in the obsidian. Red light bled through the fissures. The entire construct exploded outward with the force of a thermal detonator, shards of superheated rock scattering across the battlefield. Vader emerged, his armor scorched but intact, his cape smoking. He raised his hand, and the wreckage of the battlefield, chunks of stone, pools of molten lava, the broken remains of TIE fighters, all of it rose into the air at his command. Then he thrust his hand forward. The debris storm hit Wanda like a tsunami. She created a sphere of hexagonal shields around herself, each panel absorbing and redirecting kinetic energy. But Vader's assault was relentless. He walked toward her slowly, mechanically, each step perfectly timed with his breathing, while an endless barrage of telekinetically hurled debris hammered her defenses. Wanda could feel her shields cracking. In her universe, she could have maintained this defense indefinitely. Here, fighting against both Vader and the Force's interference with her chaos magic, she was burning through energy at an unsustainable solidified directly in front of Vader and placed both hands on his chest plate. "Let me show you what grief really looks like," she whispered. Chaos magic poured directly into Vader's mind. Wanda didn't just read thoughts, she rewrote perception itself. For one terrible instant, Vader experienced every moment of Wanda's loss. He felt her sons dissolve in her arms as the hex collapsed. He felt her desperate search across realities. He felt the bottomless, screaming void that her grief had become. It was agony beyond the physical, suffering that transcended the body. Vader staggered backward, his mechanical breathing hitched. For the first time in years, something penetrated his armor, not physically but psychologically. His lightsaber dropped from nerveless fingers. His vocabulator made his voice sound even more broken. "You understand." Wanda pulled her hands back, breathing hard. The psychic assault had cost her dearly. "I told you, you know nothing about what I've lost." Vader was silent for a long moment, his masked face turned toward her. When he finally spoke, his voice carried a weight that made the Inquisitors, still kneeling at a safe distance, flinch. "No," he said slowly, "I know exactly what you have lost, because I have lost the same." He retrieved his lightsaber, but did not ignite it. "You search for children taken from you. You would burn galaxies to find them. You would become a monster if it meant holding them again." Wanda said nothing, but tears traced lines down her ash-covered face. "I can help you," Vader continued. "This galaxy is vast, billions of worlds, trillions of souls. If your children exist here, the Empire has the resources to find them. But you must be willing to do what is necessary to gain access to that power." "What are you offering?" Wanda asked, though she already knew. She had been offered devil's bargains before. "Join us," Vader said. "Learn to control the Force as you control your chaos magic. Serve the Empire, and I will personally ensure that every world, every colony, every hidden settlement is searched. We will find your children, Wanda Maximoff, or we will find proof that they do not exist in this reality. And if I refuse, then this battle continues until one of us is dead, and your search ends here on this volcanic waste, with nothing to show for it but another failure." Vader extended his hand, a gesture of alliance from a Sith Lord to a grieving mother. "The choice is yours." Wanda stared at that offered hand. She could feel the darkness radiating from Vader, could sense that whatever he represented was fundamentally wrong. But she could also feel something else, genuine understanding. This monster knew her pain. This darkness had been born from the same grief that consumed her, and he was right. She had no idea how to navigate this galaxy. No allies, no resources, no way to search billions of worlds on her own. If there was even a chance that Billy and Tommy existed somewhere in this reality, Wanda took Vader's hand. The moment their fingers touched, she felt it, a pulse of dark energy that resonated with her chaos magic in a way that was both terrifying and intoxicating. The Force and her power weren't rejecting each other anymore. They were harmonizing. The combination sent a shiver down her spine. "You have made the right choice," Vader said. He turned to the Inquisitors. "Inform the Emperor that the disturbance has been contained. I am bringing a new asset to Fortress Vader for evaluation." The lead Inquisitor rose, hesitant. "My lord, the Emperor will want to question." "The Emperor," Vader interrupted, his voice dropping to a dangerous growl, "will be informed when I decide he needs to know. Is that clear, Inquisitor?" "Yes, my lord." Vader gestured toward his shuttle. Wanda walked beside him, her mind racing. She had allied with questionable forces before. She had been an Avenger, after all, and before that, a weapon of Hydra. She knew how to use powerful organizations and then discard them when necessary. The Empire would be no different. She would take their resources, find her children, and then she would rewrite this entire galaxy if she had to. As they boarded the shuttle, Vader turned to her one final time. "Your power is extraordinary, but undisciplined. If you are to search every corner of this galaxy, you must first learn to survive it. The Empire has many enemies. They will try to kill you. You must be ready." "I'm always ready," Wanda said, settling into the shuttle's passenger compartment. "We shall see," Vader replied. The shuttle lifted off, leaving behind a battlefield scarred by the collision of two impossible powers, chaos magic and the dark side of the Force. If you want to see more characters enter the Star Wars galaxy, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character you'd want to see in the comments below. May the Force be with you. Neither Wanda nor Vader could know that this moment, this alliance born from shared grief, would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. The Scarlet Witch had arrived, and her search for her children would leave a trail of rewritten realities across the stars. The question was not whether she would find them, but what she would become in the attempt. And in his throne room on Coruscant, Emperor Palpatine felt the disturbance resolve itself into something new, something his apprentice was hiding from him. A slow smile spread across his withered face. Vader thought he could keep secrets. How delightful, how useful. The game had changed. A new player had entered the board, and the galaxy would never be the same. Fortress Vader rose from Mustafar's volcanic wasteland like a monument to suffering. An obsidian tower built on the ashes of the Jedi Temple, constructed over the very site where Anakin Skywalker had burned and Darth Vader had been born. Wanda felt the darkness radiating from the structure before the shuttle even landed, a concentrated knot of pain and rage that made her chaos magic writhe in response. "This is your home?" she asked as they disembarked into a cavernous hangar bay. "This is where I meditate on what I have lost," Vader replied, his cape billowing as he strode toward a turbolift. "And where I forge what I will become. You will understand in time." The fortress interior was a study in deliberate brutality, sharp angles, oppressive shadows, and a pervasive heat that had nothing to do with the planet's volcanic activity. Wanda could feel the Force here, thick and cloying, saturated with dark side energy that pressed against her consciousness like a physical weight. It made her skin crawl, but there was something else too, a strange resonance between this darkness and her own grief-fueled power. Vader led her to a meditation chamber deep within the fortress, a circular room dominated by a transparent viewport that looked out over rivers of lava. "You will remain here while I make the necessary arrangements," he said. "Do not attempt to leave. The fortress defenses are comprehensive." "I'm not a prisoner," Wanda said sharply. "No, you are an ally, but you are also an unknown quantity who has displayed power that threatens the natural order of this galaxy." Vader's mask turned toward her. "The Emperor has eyes everywhere. Until I understand the full extent of your abilities and how to conceal them from his perception, you will remain here for your own protection." Before Wanda could argue, Vader left, the door sealing behind him with ominous finality. Alone, Wanda moved to the viewport and stared out at Mustafar's hellscape. The isolation gave her time to think, to process what she had done. She had allied with what was clearly an authoritarian military force, possibly even an empire built on fascist principles. The rational part of her mind screamed warnings, but the part of her that had torn through the multiverse, that had murdered innocent people in other universes while searching for her children, that part whispered that she had already crossed every moral line that mattered. What was one more compromise if it meant finding Billy and Tommy? Wanda closed her eyes and reached out with her chaos magic, trying to sense the shape of this new reality. The Force pushed back, But she pushed harder, forcing her power to penetrate deeper into the fabric of this universe. Images flashed through her mind, countless worlds, billions of souls, and among them, children, so many children. Her heart clenched with desperate hope. Somewhere in this vast galaxy, could her sons exist? The door hissed open. Wanda spun, chaos magic crackling at her fingertips. But it wasn't Vader who entered. It was a woman in black and gray armor, her face pale and severe, her eyes carrying the flat affect of someone who had seen too much death. An inquisitor, but different from the ones Wanda had fought. This one radiated cold calculation rather than brutal aggression. "I am the third sister," the woman said, her hand resting on her lightsaber hilt. "Lord Vader has assigned me to familiarize you with Imperial protocols and assess your capabilities." "I don't need a babysitter," Wanda replied. "No, you need a guide." The third sister's eyes narrowed. "You have power, Witch, but power without knowledge is merely chaos. If you truly wish to search this galaxy, you must first understand it. The Empire controls millions of systems. The Rebel Alliance hides in the shadows, recruiting the disaffected. Criminal syndicates control entire sectors. And beneath it all, the Force flows through everything, connecting all living things." She paused. "Your chaos magic is powerful, but it is alien. It will draw attention. You must learn to hide it, or you will not survive long enough to find what you seek." Wanda studied the Inquisitor carefully. Beneath the cold professionalism, she could sense something else. Ambition, yes, but also fear. This woman was terrified of Vader, and perhaps more terrified of whoever Vader served. "Fine," Wanda said. "Teach me." The third sister's training was brutally efficient. Over the following days, Wanda learned the political structure of the Galactic Empire, how the Emperor ruled through fear and the threat of the Death Star, a weapon capable of destroying entire planets. She learned about the Rebel Alliance, a desperate coalition fighting for freedom against impossible odds. She learned about the Force, how it had once been the domain of the Jedi Order, peacekeepers who had been betrayed and slaughtered by the very clone army they commanded. The Jedi believed the Force had a light side and a dark side, the third sister explained during one session. They preached balance, restraint, emotional control. They were fools. The dark side is simply power without chains. It allows us to feel everything, rage, hatred, grief, and transform those emotions into strength. Wanda's eyes gleamed. "Show me." The third sister ignited her lightsaber, a spinning double-bladed weapon that hummed with lethal energy. The dark side is fueled by passion. Your grief, your desperate love for your lost children, these are not weaknesses. They are fuel. She deactivated the blade. "Reach out with your power, not your chaos magic. Reach for the Force. Feel the darkness in this place. Let it flow through you." Wanda closed her eyes and extended her consciousness. At first, the Force resisted her, as it had since her arrival. But then she stopped trying to force it to obey. Instead, she opened herself to it, let her grief and rage and desperate longing pour out into the dark side energy that saturated Fortress Vader. The response was immediate and intoxicating. The Force surged into her like a breaking wave, and suddenly she could feel everything. The pain and anger and loss that Vader had poured into this place, the ambitious hunger of the Inquisitors, the terror of the garrison troops, and beneath it all, a vast ocean of dark side energy that stretched across the galaxy. Her chaos magic didn't reject the Force anymore. Instead, the two powers began to intertwine, amplify each other. Wanda's eyes snapped open, blazing with scarlet light, shot through with veins of crimson lightning. Objects around the meditation chamber began to levitate, not through chaos magic alone, but through a hybrid of her reality-warping power and telekinetic force control. "Impossible," the third sister whispered, backing away. You've had no training. You shouldn't be able to... Wanda gestured, and the third sister's lightsaber tore itself from her belt and flew across the room. Not just telekinesis, Wanda was rewriting the probability that the weapon would stay attached, making it inevitable that it would come to her hand. The fusion of chaos magic and the dark side was creating something entirely new. "I don't need training," Wanda said, her voice carrying harmonic resonance that made the air vibrate. "I just needed to understand what I was working with." The door burst open. Vader strode in, his presence immediately dominating the chamber. "Enough." He turned to the third sister. "Leave us." The Inquisitor fled gratefully. Vader approached Wanda slowly, his mechanical breathing the only sound. "You have touched the dark side," he said. "I can feel it radiating from you. But you have also done something I have never witnessed. You have merged it with your chaos magic. The two powers should be incompatible, yet you have made them harmonize." "Is that a problem?" Wanda asked, not bothering to hide the new strength in her voice. "On the contrary, it makes you exponentially more valuable." Vader gestured to the viewport. "I have completed the initial preparations. Imperial intelligence has begun searching their databases for any Force-sensitive children matching your son's descriptions. But there is a complication." "What complication?" "The Emperor knows you exist. My Inquisitor's reports could not be completely suppressed. Palpatine has summoned us both to Coruscant. He wishes to meet you personally." Wanda's enhanced senses picked up something in Vader's tone. Not quite fear, but close. Caution. Wariness. "You're afraid of him," she said. "I serve him," Vader corrected, "as you must appear to serve him, if you wish to maintain access to Imperial resources. But know this, Emperor Palpatine is the most powerful dark side user in the galaxy. He will attempt to manipulate you to turn your grief into a weapon he can control. You must not let him see the full extent of your power, not yet." "Why are you helping me hide this from him?" Wanda asked suspiciously. "What do you get out of it?" Vader was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his words carried the weight of dark revelation. "The Emperor believes himself unchallengeable. He has ruled for decades, crushing any threat to his supremacy. But you, Wanda Maximoff, are something he has never encountered. A power from beyond this galaxy, enhanced by the dark side, capable of rewriting reality itself. If properly developed, properly directed," he paused, "the Emperor can be overthrown. A new order can be established, and those who aided in this transition would, of course, be rewarded." There it was. Vader wasn't just helping her find her children. He was grooming her as a weapon against his own master. The realization should have disturbed Wanda, but instead, she felt a cold sort of satisfaction. She had played these games before. Let powerful men think they were using her, right up until the moment she turned their own schemes against them. "I'll meet your Emperor," Wanda said, "but I make no promises about what happens after that." "I expect nothing less," Vader replied. The journey to Coruscant took 2 days aboard Vader's personal Star Destroyer, the Executor. Wanda spent the time in meditation, learning to weave her chaos magic and dark side powers into increasingly complex patterns. She discovered she could rewrite probability to make Force visions manifest, essentially creating self-fulfilling prophecies. She learned to use the Force to sense life across vast distances, then use chaos magic to manipulate those lives from light years away. Most disturbingly, she found she could reach into people's minds and simply rewrite who they were. The discovery came by accident during an encounter with an ambitious Imperial officer who attempted to confine her to quarters for her own safety. Wanda had placed her hand on his chest, intending only to push him aside. But her hybrid power had poured into his mind, unbidden. She had felt his identity, his memories, his loyalties, his very sense of self, and realized with terrifying clarity that she could edit any of it. She could make him forget his family, make him worship her, make him believe he was someone else entirely. She had pulled back, horrified, but the officer had already changed. He now looked at her with absolute devotion, ready to die at her command. Vader had noticed, of course. "You have discovered one of the dark side's greatest gifts," he said. "The ability to dominate wills, to reshape minds. The Emperor is a master of this technique, but your chaos magic amplifies it beyond anything he could achieve. Be careful, that power has a cost." "What cost?" Wanda asked, though she already suspected. "The more you change others, the more you change yourself. Identity becomes fluid. You may find yourself uncertain which memories are real and which you have rewritten. The boundaries between your will and reality itself begin to blur." Vader's mask turned toward her. "I have seen Force users lose themselves in this power. They become what they create, unable to distinguish between manipulation and truth." Wanda said nothing, but she filed the warning away. She had already rewritten reality once, created an entire town where she lived in domestic bliss with Vision and her children. She knew the seductive danger of choosing comfortable lies over painful truth, but she also knew she would do it again if it meant getting her sons back. Coruscant emerged from hyperspace like a jewel of metal and light, an entire planet transformed into one massive city, with buildings stretching kilometers into the sky and traffic flowing in organized streams through the perpetual twilight. Wanda stared at it through the viewport, awed despite herself. Even in her universe, even with all of Earth's technological advancement, nothing compared to this. "The galactic capital," Vader explained. 10 trillion souls, all living under the Emperor's shadow. From here, he controls an empire spanning millions of systems. And at its heart, he pointed to a massive structure at the planet's pole. The Imperial Palace. The palace was a monument to authoritarian grandeur, a pyramidal megastructure that dwarfed everything around it, its peak crowned with sensor arrays and defensive weapons. Wanda could feel the dark side radiating from it like a malignant star. Whatever waited for her in there was old, powerful, and utterly malevolent. Their shuttle descended through layers of security checkpoints, each one more oppressive than the last. Royal guards in crimson robes and armor lined the corridors, their faces hidden behind masks, their presence radiating trained lethality. Wanda's hybrid senses picked up something else about them. They weren't just soldiers, they were force sensitive, their wills bound completely to the Emperor's service. "Remain calm," Vader murmured as they approached the throne room. "Let me speak first. Show respect, but not submission. The Emperor respects strength, but punishes arrogance." The throne room doors opened with ominous silence. The chamber beyond was vast and shadowed, illuminated only by the pale light filtering through massive transparasteel windows that looked out over Coruscant's endless cityscape. And there, seated on a throne carved from black stone, hunched a figure that radiated such concentrated darkness that Wanda's chaos magic recoiled instinctively. Emperor Palpatine looked like death given flesh. Ancient, withered, his face a mass of wrinkled skin and yellow eyes that burned with malevolent intelligence. He wore robes of black and crimson, and when he smiled, his teeth were gray and rotting. "Approach," he commanded, his voice a papery whisper that somehow filled the entire chamber. Vader knelt. After a moment's hesitation, Wanda did the same, not out of respect, but tactical necessity. "Rise, Lord Vader," Palpatine said, "and bring your guessed closer, I would see this anomaly that has disturbed the Force so profoundly. They approached the throne. Wanda could feel the Emperor's will pressing against her mind, probing, testing her defenses. She reinforced them with layers of chaos magic, creating false surfaces for him to examine while hiding her true power deeper within. Fascinating, Palpatine hissed. You are not of this galaxy, are you, child? Your power draws from something beyond the Force, something chaotic. His yellow eyes gleamed. Tell me, what brings you to my empire? I'm looking for my children, Wanda said, keeping her voice steady. They were taken from me. I've searched across realities to find them. Your galaxy is vast. I need resources to search it properly. Children, Palpatine repeated, tasting the word. How touching. Maternal love has driven you across the very barriers between universes. Such devotion, such desperation. He leaned forward. And what would you do for me, I wonder, in exchange for access to those resources? That depends on what you're asking. Palpatine's smile widened. The Rebel Alliance grows bolder each day. They destroyed my Death Star, a weapon decades in construction, reduced to debris by a handful of terrorists. I have Inquisitors hunting the remnants of the Jedi Order, but they are insufficient. I need someone with unique capabilities to track down Force-sensitive children before the rebels can recruit them. Someone who can sense them across vast distances. Someone who can persuade them to serve the Empire instead. Wanda understood immediately. He wanted her to hunt children, to find Force-sensitive kids, and either convert them or eliminate them. The very thought made her sick, but then she realized the terrible opportunity being offered. If she was searching for Force-sensitive children across the galaxy, ostensibly for the Empire, she could simultaneously search for Billy and Tommy. Every child she found, every young Force user located, could be compared against the profile of her sons. The Emperor was offering her exactly what she needed, wrapped in a task she found morally repugnant. I'll do it, Wanda said, but I have conditions. The temperature in the throne room dropped 10 degrees. You dare make conditions of me? Palpatine's voice carried lethal edge. I require full access to Imperial databases. I need complete information on every known Force-sensitive child in the galaxy, past and present. I need unrestricted travel authority, and I work alone. No Inquisitor supervision, no Imperial oversight. Palpatine's eyes narrowed. For a moment, Wanda thought she had pushed too far. Then the Emperor laughed, a sound like bones grinding together. Such arrogance, I like that. Very well. You shall have your access, your authority, your independence. But know this, child. If you betray me, if you use my resources for purposes other than those I have sanctioned, I will unmake you in ways that transcend death itself. I have consumed souls before. I can do so again. The threat hung in the air like poison gas. Wanda met Palpatine's yellow eyes and nodded once. Excellent, Palpatine said. Lord Vader will provide you with your first assignment. Dantooine, a Rebel Alliance base, was recently discovered there. Our intelligence suggests they are hiding Force-sensitive refugees. Destroy the base. Retrieve any children you find. Demonstrate your loyalty to the Empire. Vader bowed. It will be done, my master. As they left the throne room, Wanda could feel Palpatine's gaze boring into her back, a weight that promised terrible consequences if she stepped out of line. But she had gotten what she needed: access, authority, the ability to search billions of worlds under the guise of serving the Empire. He suspects, Vader said once they were safely aboard his shuttle. The Emperor always suspects. He will have you watched. Let him watch, Wanda replied, her eyes glowing faintly with scarlet light. He has no idea what I'm truly capable of. Neither do I, Vader admitted, which is precisely blasted off, carrying them toward a waiting Star Destroyer. Wanda stared out at Coruscant's endless cityscape, her mind already racing ahead. Dantooine was just the beginning. She would search every world, investigate every lead, hunt down every Force-sensitive child in the galaxy, if necessary. And when she found Billy and Tommy, because she would find them, she had to find them. Nothing would stop her from bringing them home. Not the Emperor, not the Rebel Alliance, not the Force itself. The Scarlet Witch had come to the Star Wars galaxy, and she would bend it to her will or burn it to ash trying. The only question was how many lives would be rewritten before her search finally ended. Dantooine hung in space like a forgotten emerald, a pastoral world of grasslands and ancient ruins, seemingly peaceful until Imperial sensors detected the hidden rebel base buried beneath its prairies. Wanda stood in the command center of the Star Destroyer Devastator, watching the planet grow larger in the viewport while Imperial officers coordinated the assault. 3 battalions of stormtroopers supported by AT-AT walkers and TIE bomber squadrons, the fleet commander explained, gesturing to tactical displays. We'll have the base surrounded within the hour. Standard protocol: eliminate all military resistance, capture intelligence assets, recover any... No, Wanda interrupted. The commander blinked. I'm sorry, ma'am, but Lord Vader's orders were clear. I don't care about your battalions or your walkers. Wanda's eyes began to glow with scarlet light. I'm going down there alone. When I give the signal, you can send in your troops to clean up what's left. The commander looked to Vader, who stood silently in the shadows of the command deck. The Dark Lord nodded once. Do as she says. The witch wishes to demonstrate her capabilities. I am curious to see the results. Wanda took a shuttle down to Dantooine's surface, landing in the grasslands 5 kilometers from the rebel base. She could already feel them through the Force. Hundreds of souls clustered in underground bunkers, their fear and determination radiating like beacons. And among them, she sensed something else. Children. Young Force sensitives, their potential barely awakened, hidden among the rebels for protection. Her heart clenched. Were Billy and Tommy here? Could it be this simple? Wanda extended her hybrid senses, chaos magic and dark side power intertwining as she searched for familiar signatures. She knew her son's essences intimately, had created them from her own will and love, had nursed them, had watched them grow. If they existed anywhere in this galaxy, surely she would recognize them. But the children she sensed in that base were strangers, scared, Force-sensitive, but not her boys. Disappointment crashed over her, sharp enough to steal her breath. For a moment, she simply stood in the alien grass, hands clenched, fighting back the familiar despair. Another world searched, another dead end. How many more planets would she have to tear apart before she found them? Then the anger came, hot and dark and tinged with the intoxicating fury of the dark side. These rebels were hiding Force-sensitive children, just as the Emperor had said. Children who could be hers. Children who could be rewritten, reshaped, made into the sons she had lost. The thought horrified the part of her that was still Wanda Maximoff, still an Avenger, still a hero. But the part of her that had become the Scarlet Witch, that had murdered her way across realities, that had embraced the dark side to fuel her search. That part whispered that she had already crossed every line that mattered. What was one more atrocity if it brought her closer to her goal? Wanda started walking toward the base. The rebel sentries never saw her coming. She wrapped herself in probability manipulation, making it inevitable that their sensors would malfunction, that their eyes would look everywhere except where she stood. She passed through their perimeter like a ghost, chaos magic rewriting the odds until she was simply meant to be there, invisible to detection. The base entrance was concealed beneath a camouflage tarp that blended perfectly with the grassland. Wanda tore it away with a gesture, exposing the blast doors beneath. Security systems activated immediately, automated turrets swiveling toward her, alarm klaxons beginning to wail. She raised both hands, and reality around the entrance simply changed. The Durasteel blast doors transformed into fragile glass. The automated turrets became flowering vines that grew harmlessly into the soil. The alarm systems forgot they had ever detected an intruder. Wanda walked through the shattered glass entrance into the base proper, her hybrid power rewriting obstacles faster than the rebels could respond. Inside, chaos erupted. Rebel soldiers poured into the corridors, blasters raised, shouting confused orders as their defensive systems failed in impossible ways. Wanda didn't break stride. She gestured at the first squad of soldiers, and their blasters transformed into harmless toys. Another gesture and gravity reversed in a 30-meter radius, sending a platoon of rebels tumbling toward the ceiling. "Stand down," a woman's voice commanded. A rebel officer with captain's insignia pushed through the crowd, lightsaber igniting in her hand with a snap hiss of green light. "Jedi survivors to me." 3 more lightsabers ignited throughout the corridor. Survivors of Order 66, hidden among the rebellion. They moved with the fluid grace of trained warriors, their connection to the Force bright and disciplined. Wanda could feel their light side presence like sunshine against her darkness. "Leave this place," the captain commanded, her voice carrying Force-enhanced authority. "We will not let you harm these children." "I don't want to harm them," Wanda said truthfully. "I just need to see them, to know if mine are among them. Your children are not here, Sith." The captain's jaw clenched. "I can sense your darkness. You've fallen to the Emperor's corruption. Whatever you were before, whatever loss drove you to this, it's not too late to turn back." Wanda's laugh was bitter. "You have no idea what I've already done, what I've already sacrificed. Your little rebellion, your noble cause, none of it matters compared to finding my sons." "Then you've already lost yourself," the captain said sadly. She raised her lightsaber. "May the Force be with you." The Jedi survivors attacked as one, a coordinated assault honed by years of training and desperate survival. They came at Wanda from 4 directions simultaneously, lightsabers weaving patterns of green and blue light that would have overwhelmed any ordinary opponent. Wanda was not ordinary. She created a sphere of hexagonal shields around herself, each one made from crystallized probability that the lightsabers simply could not penetrate. Then she reached into the base's structure with her chaos magic and rewrote the physical laws governing the corridor. Gravity became directional, pulling the Jedi toward the walls. The air thickened into honey, slowing their movements to a crawl. The floor beneath them became frictionless ice. The captain fought through it all with sheer Force-enhanced willpower, using telekinesis to anchor herself, burning through the thickened air with light side energy. She got close enough to swing her lightsaber at Wanda's head, a strike that should have been unstoppable. Wanda caught the blade in her bare hand. Chaos magic rewrote the plasma into harmless light. The captain's eyes widened in shock. Before she could react, Wanda placed her other hand on the woman's chest and poured dark side energy directly into her mind. "Sleep," Wanda commanded, her voice resonating with hybrid power. The captain's eyes rolled back. She collapsed like a puppet with cut strings. The other 3 Jedi survivors tried to rally, but Wanda was done playing. She gestured once, sharply, and all 3 were lifted off their feet by invisible telekinetic force. She held them suspended in the air, struggling uselessly against her hybrid power. "Where are the children?" Wanda demanded. One of the Jedi, an old man with a scarred face, spat at her feet. "We'll die before we tell you." "Then die," Wanda said coldly. She began to crush them with telekinetic pressure, slowly increasing the force until their armor started to creak. But even as she did it, she felt something inside herself recoil. These were Jedi, the closest thing this galaxy had to heroes. They were protecting children from an authoritarian empire. In another life, Wanda would have been fighting alongside them, not against them. But that life was gone. She had left it behind the moment she started murdering her way across the multiverse. "Wait!" a young voice cried out. A Twi'lek girl, no more than 12, emerged from a side corridor. Tears streamed down her face, her leku trembling with fear. "Please don't hurt them. I'll show you where we are. Just please." Wanda released the Jedi survivors. They dropped to the floor, gasping. The old man tried to grab the girl to pull her back, but she shook her head. "It's okay, Master Koda," the girl whispered. I can feel her. She's not like the Inquisitors. She's looking for someone. She's lost." The girl led Wanda deeper into the base, past corridors filled with terrified rebel soldiers who wisely stayed out of her way. They reached a sealed blast door guarded by 2 soldiers who immediately raised their weapons. "Stand aside," Wanda commanded, her voice carrying dark side compulsion. The soldiers' eyes glazed. They lowered their weapons and stepped away mechanically. The girl punched in an access code and the door hissed open, revealing a large chamber that had been converted into a makeshift school. 30 children looked up from their lessons, human, alien, young, and old, all of them radiating force sensitivity to varying degrees. They were being taught by an elderly woman whose gentle presence in the Force marked her as another Jedi survivor, an archivist perhaps, dedicated to preserving the Order's knowledge. Wanda's hybrid senses swept across every child, searching desperately for familiar signatures. She examined each one methodically, their Force presence, their life energy, the fundamental resonance of their souls, looking for any hint, any trace that might be Billy or Tommy reincarnated, reborn, existing in this reality. Nothing. None of them were her sons. The despair that crashed over Wanda was so profound that her chaos magic flared involuntarily, causing objects throughout the chamber to levitate and spin. The children screamed. The elderly teacher moved to shield them, lightsaber igniting in her weathered hand. "Get out," the old woman commanded, her voice firm despite her fear. "Whatever you're looking for isn't here. Leave these children alone." Wanda stood frozen, torn between grief and rage. It would be so easy to take one of these children, to rewrite their memories, their identity, make them believe they were her sons. Her hybrid power could do it, erase who they were and replace it with who she needed them to be. She could create Billy and Tommy right here, right now, and no one in this galaxy would ever know the difference. The Twi'lek girl took Wanda's hand. "You miss them," she said softly. "Your children. I can feel how much you love them, how much it hurts that they're gone." Wanda looked down at the girl and for a moment saw herself, a child who had lost everything, who had been shaped by grief and trauma into something dangerous. The girl's compassion, offered freely despite everything Wanda had done, cracked something inside her. "They're not here," Wanda whispered. "I thought maybe." "Then keep looking," the girl said. "But please don't hurt anyone else while you do. Your children wouldn't want that, would they?" The question hit Wanda like a physical blow. Billy and Tommy, the real Billy and Tommy, not the fantasy versions she had created in the Hex. They had been good boys, kind, heroic even. They would be horrified by what their mother had become. Wanda pulled her hand away from the girl. "I need to see your records. Every Force-sensitive child you've documented, every refugee you've taken in. Now." The elderly teacher hesitated, then seemed to sense that this was a concession. perhaps the only one Wanda would make. She led them to an archive room where datapads contained information on hundreds of Force-sensitive children rescued from across the galaxy, their names, their origins, their current locations. Wanda consumed the information with desperate hunger, her enhanced mind processing it faster than any organic being should be capable of. She cross-referenced every child against her memories of Billy and Tommy, looking for any possible connection, any hint that might lead her to them. Still nothing. But the archive gave her something else, a map of the rebellion's network for smuggling Force-sensitive children to safety. Dozens of safe houses, hundreds of possible locations she hadn't yet searched. "I'm taking this," Wanda said, copying the data to a secure drive. "That information will get people killed," the teacher protested. "The Empire will use it to hunt down every child we've tried to save." "I don't care about the Empire's hunts," Wanda said. "I only care about finding my children. If they're hidden in your network, this data will lead me to them." She turned to leave, then paused. The Twi'lek girl was still watching her, with those impossibly compassionate eyes. On impulse, Wanda reached out with her chaos magic and placed a protection hex around the child, a subtle rewriting of probability that would make the girl incredibly lucky, difficult to kill, almost impossible to capture. "Stay safe," Wanda said quietly. Then she walked out of the archive, out of the school, leaving the children unharmed behind her. The rebel base was in full evacuation mode by the time Wanda emerged. Soldiers were loading transports, destroying sensitive equipment, preparing to flee before the Imperial assault arrived. The Jedi survivors watched her warily as she passed, but none tried to stop her. Wanda activated her comlink. "Vader, send in your troops. The base is neutralized, but the children—" She hesitated. "The children are not to be harmed. Capture them if you must, but alive and uninjured." There was a long pause. Then Vader's voice crackled through. "An unexpected display of mercy. The Emperor will not approve." "I don't care what he approves," Wanda snapped. "Those children aren't threats. They're just scared kids who've lost everything. Like I lost everything. I won't be responsible for their deaths." Another pause. "As you wish. I will inform the assault commander." Wanda walked back to her shuttle through the grasslands, her mind churning. She had gained valuable intelligence. The rebel network data would give her dozens of new leads to follow. But she had also revealed something dangerous. She still had a conscience, still had lines she wouldn't cross. That made her vulnerable, and in the dark side's embrace, vulnerability was fatal. The shuttle ride back to the Star Destroyer was silent. Vader met her in the hangar bay, his massive form silhouetted against the viewport showing Dantooine below, where Imperial troops were now securing the base. "You showed weakness," Vader said without preamble. "The dark side demands absolute commitment. Hesitation, mercy, attachment to moral codes. These are paths to failure." "I got the intelligence we needed," Wanda countered. "I neutralized their defenses. I gave you the base. What more do you want?" "I want you to understand that your children are likely dead," Vader said bluntly, "or they never existed in this reality at all. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can focus on the power you are developing, rather than a futile search." Wanda's eyes blazed scarlet. "Don't you dare!" "I lost everything too," Vader interrupted, his mechanical voice carrying unexpected emotion. "My wife, my unborn child, my very identity. I searched for years, hoping somehow they had survived. They had not. That grief nearly destroyed me. Only when I fully embraced the dark side, only when I let that loss fuel my power instead of weakening me with false hope, did I become truly strong." "I'm not you," Wanda said coldly. "No, you are potentially far more powerful. But that potential will never be realized if you cling to the person you were." The Scarlet Witch must fully emerge, and Wanda Maximoff must die. Before Wanda could respond, every screen in the hangar bay flickered. The Emperor's withered face appeared, his yellow eyes burning with malevolent intensity. "Lord Vader, Miss Maximoff, how delightful to interrupt your philosophical discussion." Palpatine's smile was predatory. "I have been reviewing your performance on Dantooine. Technically successful, yet restrained. You demonstrated considerable power, yet you allowed the rebel leadership to escape. You accessed valuable intelligence, yet you refused to eliminate the Force-sensitive children as instructed." Wanda's blood ran cold. He had been watching. Somehow, despite all her precautions, Palpatine had observed everything. "The children were not a threat," Wanda said carefully. "Capturing them serves the Empire better than killing them." "Perhaps," Palpatine hissed, "or perhaps you are not as committed to our cause as you claim. Tell me, child, what would you do if I ordered you to execute those children right now? If I made their deaths the price of continued access to Imperial resources?" The question hung in the air like a blade. Wanda felt Vader's presence beside her, waiting to see how she would respond. She knew this was a test. Palpatine was probing for weakness, for leverage he could exploit. She had to give him something, show enough darkness to satisfy him, but not so much that she lost herself completely. "If you gave that order," Wanda said slowly, "I would refuse, and then I would tear this ship apart until I found another way to continue my search. You need me, Emperor. You need my power to hunt Force sensitives that your Inquisitors could never find. You need my ability to rewrite reality to combat threats you don't even understand yet. So don't test me with pointless cruelty. Give me what we agreed upon, and I will deliver results. Try to control me with threats, and you'll discover exactly how much chaos one witch can create." The silence that followed was absolute. Palpatine's expression was unreadable. Wanda braced herself for retaliation, Force lightning perhaps, or some dark side technique she had never encountered. Instead, the Emperor laughed. "Magnificent," Palpatine wheezed. "Such fire, such arrogance. You remind me of myself in my youth, child, before I learned the true depths of the dark side." His smile faded. "Very well. Continue your search. Use Imperial resources as you see fit. But know this, every act of mercy weakens you. Every moment you hesitate brings you closer to failure. The dark side rewards only those willing to sacrifice everything, and I do mean everything, for power." The transmission cut off. Wanda released a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. "You took an enormous risk," Vader said. "The Emperor does not tolerate defiance." "He tolerates useful defiance," Wanda replied. "And right now, I'm too useful to kill. But that won't last forever. I need to find my children before his patience runs out." "Then I suggest," Vader said, turning toward the command deck, "that you examine the data you acquired more carefully. The rebel network extends far beyond what you saw on Dantooine, and there are rumors, whispers in the Force, of a hidden Jedi sanctuary where the most powerful Force-sensitive children are being trained in secret, a place even Imperial intelligence has failed to locate." Wanda's pulse quickened. "Where?" "Unknown. But I have arranged for you to speak with someone who might know. A prisoner recently captured by my Inquisitors, a former Jedi who has proven resistant to conventional interrogation." Vader's mask turned toward her. "Perhaps your unique abilities will succeed where torture has failed." Wanda followed Vader to the detention level, her mind already racing ahead. A hidden Jedi sanctuary, Force-sensitive children being trained in secret. If Billy and Tommy existed anywhere in this galaxy, a place like that would be exactly where they'd end up. She would find this sanctuary. She would search every child there, and if her sons weren't among them, Well, she was already on the path to becoming the monster this galaxy feared. What was one more atrocity in service of impossible hope? The dark side whispered its approval, and Wanda didn't push it away. The detention block of the Executor was a monument to suffering. Sterile corridors lined with cells where enemies of the Empire were broken systematically, their screams absorbed by sound-dampening fields. Wanda walked beside Vader through this mechanical hell, her enhanced senses picking up the residue of pain and despair that saturated every surface. The dark side fed on such anguish, growing fat and strong in places like this. She tried not to think about what that said about her, that she could feel the darkness here and not recoil. They stopped before a cell at the corridor's end, its containment field glowing with a sickly amber light. Inside, suspended in a neural inhibitor frame that kept him immobilized, hung a Jedi, middle-aged, his face scarred from torture, his robes stained with blood, both old and fresh. But his eyes still burned with defiant clarity. "Master Jyn Altis," Vader announced, "leader of an underground network that has smuggled Force-sensitive children away from Imperial attention for nearly 2 decades. He has withstood interrogation for 6 standard weeks. The Inquisitors believe he will die before revealing the location of his primary sanctuary." Wanda studied the Jedi carefully. His connection to the light side was strong despite his suffering, a steady flame that refused to be extinguished. She could sense his resolve, iron-hard and absolute. Vader was right. Conventional torture would never break this man, but Wanda's power wasn't conventional. "Leave us," she said to Vader. The Dark Lord hesitated for only a moment, then nodded and withdrew. The cell door sealed behind him with a hydraulic hiss. Leaving Wanda alone with the prisoner, Master Altis watched her approach with wary eyes. Another interrogator? The Empire must be growing desperate if they're recruiting witches now. "I'm not here to torture you," Wanda said quietly. She deactivated the neural inhibitor with a gesture, her chaos magic rewriting the security protocols. Altis dropped to the floor, his legs buckling after weeks of suspension. Wanda caught him with telekinesis, easing him down gently. "Then why are you here?" Altis asked, massaging feeling back into his limbs. "I need information. There's a sanctuary, a place where you've been hiding Force-sensitive children. I need to know where it is." "So you can send the Inquisitors to slaughter them?" Altis shook his head. "I'd rather die." "I don't want them slaughtered," Wanda said, kneeling to meet his eyes. "I'm looking for my children, 2 boys. They were taken from me, and I've searched across universes to find them. Your sanctuary might be hiding them. I just need to know if they're there." Altis studied her face, and she saw the moment his Jedi training allowed him to sense her true desperation. "I feel your grief," he said slowly. "It's a wound in the Force itself. A pain so profound it's twisted everything around you. But child, whatever loss drove you to the dark side, whatever you've done in service to it, adding more suffering won't heal you." "I don't want to be healed," Wanda replied, her voice cracking. "I want my sons back, that's all. Just tell me where they are. And if they're not in my sanctuary, will you destroy it anyway? Will you take those children to the Emperor as proof of your loyalty?" Wanda was silent. She didn't have an answer, didn't know what she would do if the sanctuary held nothing but disappointment. The truth was, each failed search was pushing her deeper into darkness. Each world without her children made the monster inside her stronger. "I could make you tell me," Wanda said finally. "I could reach into your mind and simply take the information, rewrite who you are until you believe serving the Empire is the most important thing in the galaxy. You'd give me everything I want and thank me for the opportunity." "I know," Altis said. "I can sense that power in you. Something beyond the Force, terrible and absolute, But you haven't done it yet. That means part of you still remembers what it means to be human, what it means to choose mercy over expediency. That part is dying, Wanda whispered. Every day I don't find them. It gets smaller? Then let me help you save it. Altis shifted, leaning against the cell wall. I'll make you a deal. I'll tell you where the sanctuary is, not because you've threatened me, but because I choose to trust that the mother searching for her children is stronger than the dark side user serving an empire. Go there. Search for your boys. But if they're not there, when they're not there, because I know every child in that sanctuary and none match your description, you'll let the others leave unharmed. You'll give them that mercy, even though it gains you nothing. Wanda's hands trembled. It was the same choice she'd faced on Dantooine, but sharper now, more personal. Accept limits on her search, maintain some scrap of her humanity, or tear through every obstacle with dark side power and damn the consequences. How do I know you're not lying? She asked. That you won't just send me to some abandoned facility while the real sanctuary remains hidden? You don't, Altis admitted. You'll have to trust me. The same way I'm trusting that you still have enough light left to keep your word. Wanda stood, pacing the small cell. Every tactical instinct screamed at her to just rip the information from his mind. It would be easy. A few moments of chaos magic, some dark side persuasion, and she'd have everything she needed without making promises she might not keep. But the Twi'lek girl's voice echoed in her memory. Your children wouldn't want that, would they? Where is it? Wanda asked. Altis took a deep breath. The sanctuary is on Tython, hidden in the ruins of an ancient Jedi temple, beneath layers of force-masking techniques that make it invisible to Imperial sensors. The children there range from infants to teenagers, all force-sensitive, all refugees from the Empire's purges. Tython, Wanda repeated, committing the name to memory. And if I find that my children aren't there, you'll let them go, Altis finished. All of them. You'll walk away and continue your search elsewhere. I promise, Wanda said, and hated herself for meaning it. She reactivated the neural inhibitor, lifting Altis gently back into suspension. He didn't resist, but his eyes held a question. I can't release you, Wanda explained. If Vader finds out I got the information without breaking you completely, he'll know something's wrong. You need to look like you're still holding out, but... She placed her hand on his chest, chaos magic flowing into him. I'm giving you something, a probability hex, when the opportunity to escape presents itself, and it will because I'm making it inevitable. You'll survive. You'll get away. Use that time to warn whoever you can. Why? Altis asked. Why help me after I've given you what you want? Because you trusted me, Wanda said simply, and because I need to believe I'm still capable of earning that trust, even if I don't deserve it. She left the cell before Altis could respond, sealing it behind her. Vader waited in the corridor, his mechanical breathing the only sound. Did he talk? Vader asked. Eventually, Wanda lied. I had to dig deep into his mind. The trauma may have left him compromised. He might not survive much longer. Unfortunate, but acceptable. What did you learn? A location, Tython. There's a hidden sanctuary there. Force-sensitive children being trained in secret. Wanda met Vader's masked gaze. I need to go there, alone. The Emperor will want proof of your loyalty. A sanctuary full of force-sensitive children would be a significant prize. I'll handle the Emperor, Wanda said coldly. Just get me to Tython. The journey took 3 days, enough time for Wanda to feel the dark side coiling tighter around her heart, whispering that she was a fool to show mercy, that every kindness was a weakness her enemies would exploit. She meditated in her quarters, trying to separate her chaos magic from the dark side's influence, but they were too intertwined now. The two powers fed each other in a feedback loop that grew stronger with every passing hour. She could feel herself changing. Thoughts that would have horrified her weeks ago now seemed reasonable, pragmatic. What did a few lives matter compared to finding Billy and Tommy? What were the moral concerns of one galaxy weighed against a mother's love? The dark side didn't just corrupt. It convinced you that corruption was clarity. Tython emerged from hyperspace, a verdant world wrapped in storms, its surface scarred by ancient battles between Jedi and Sith. Wanda could feel the Force here, stronger than anywhere else she'd visited. The planet itself seemed alive with it, resonating with millennia of Force users who had walked its surface. She took a shuttle down alone, landing near the ruins Altis had described. The temple was a massive structure half buried in jungle growth, its stones covered with inscriptions in a language she couldn't read. But she didn't need to read them. She could feel the sanctuary's presence beneath her feet. A pocket of light-side energy hidden in chambers deep underground, shielded by Force techniques so subtle, even Imperial sensors couldn't detect them. Wanda descended into the ruins, her hybrid senses guiding her through collapsed corridors and ancient chambers. The deeper she went, the stronger the light-side presence became. It pushed against her darkness, trying to repel her, but she forced her way through with raw power. Finally, she found it, a sealed door covered in glowing Jedi symbols, their light pulsing in rhythm with the Force itself. This was it. Behind that door were the children Altis had dedicated his life to protecting. Behind that door might be Billy and Tommy. Wanda placed both hands on the door and poured her hybrid power into it. The ancient Jedi wards resisted. They were strong, layered with generations of protective magic, but they weren't designed to withstand someone who could simply rewrite reality. The symbols flickered, their logic corrupted by chaos magic, and the door swung open. The sanctuary beyond was beautiful. Natural caverns had been converted into living spaces, training halls, meditation chambers. Bioluminescent plants provided soft light. Water from an underground spring filled a pool that reflected the cavern ceiling like stars. And throughout it all, children, dozens of them, human and alien, young and old, all radiating Force sensitivity. They were being taught by 3 Jedi survivors, elderly masters who had escaped Order 66 and dedicated their remaining years to preserving the Order's knowledge. Every head turned as Wanda entered. The Jedi Masters immediately moved to shield the children, lightsabers igniting with coordinated precision. "How did you find us?" the eldest master demanded, a Togruta woman whose montrals were gray with age. "It doesn't matter," Wanda said, her eyes already scanning the children with desperate intensity. She reached out with her hybrid senses, examining each soul, searching for any trace of Billy and Tommy. A young human boy with bright blue eyes, not Billy. A teenage Mirialan girl with geometric tattoos, not Tommy. Twin Twi'lek brothers who clung to each other fearfully, not her sons. On and on, through every child in the sanctuary, Wanda examined them all with increasingly frantic thoroughness, diving deeper into the Force, using chaos magic to peer into their very essence. None of them were Billy and Tommy. The realization hit her like a physical blow. She staggered, catching herself against the cavern wall. Another sanctuary, another dead end, another world searched and found wanting. How many more failures could she endure before she lost herself completely? "They're not here," Wanda whispered. "They're not anywhere." The eldest Jedi Master's expression softened. "Child, whoever you're looking for, perhaps they—" "Don't!" Wanda snarled, her eyes blazing scarlet. "Don't you dare tell me to give up. Don't you dare suggest I accept this." The cavern began to shake. Wanda's grief was manifesting as uncontrolled power, stalactites cracking, water in the pool rising into the air, reality itself warping around her emotional storm. The children screamed. The Jedi Masters formed a protective circle, using the Force to shield their charges from the chaos. "Please," one of the younger Masters said, a human man with gentle eyes, "we don't want to fight you, but we will protect these children with our lives if necessary." Wanda looked at them. These Jedi who had lost everything, but still chose to preserve light in the galaxy's darkness. She looked at the children they protected, terrified but not abandoned. And she thought about the promise she'd made to Altis. She could take these children, could rewrite one or more of them into Billy and Tommy, could use her chaos magic to create the family she'd lost. Damn the consequences. The dark side urged her to do exactly that, to take what she wanted, to fill the void inside her with stolen souls reshaped into the sons she'd lost. But Billy and Tommy wouldn't be Billy and Tommy. They'd be lies wearing her children's faces, and some part of Wanda, the part that was still an Avenger, still a hero, still Wanda Maximoff, couldn't accept that, wouldn't accept that. "I promised someone I'd let you go," Wanda said finally, her voice hollow. "If I didn't find what I was looking for, so go. Take the children and run. I'll give you a 6-hour head start before I report this location to the Empire." The Jedi Masters exchanged shocked glances. "Why would you?" "Because I made a promise," Wanda interrupted. "And because if I break it, if I give in completely to this darkness, then I really will lose everything, including myself." She turned toward the exit. 6 hours. Use them wisely. She made it halfway to the surface before her legs gave out. Wanda collapsed in an abandoned corridor, sobbing with grief so profound it felt like her chest was being torn open. She had searched across universes, made deals with dark powers, killed innocent people, embraced corruption, all for nothing. Billy and Tommy weren't here. They might not exist in this galaxy at all. Vader's words echoed in her mind. "Your children are likely dead, or they never existed in this reality at all." No, she couldn't accept that, wouldn't. There had to be something she was missing. Some technique, some power, some forbidden knowledge that could help her search more effectively. She just needed to push further into the dark side, embrace more of its power. A hand touched her shoulder. Wanda spun, chaos magic flaring defensively, but it was only the human Jedi Master. He had followed her from the sanctuary, his presence calm and filled with compassionate light. "Go back to the children," Wanda said, trying to make her voice hard. "You're wasting your head start." "They're already evacuating. I stayed because..." He sat down beside her. "Because I know what it's like to lose someone you'd do anything to protect. My Padawan died during Order 66. I felt her fear through our bond as the clones turned on her. I couldn't save her. That guilt, that grief, it nearly consumed me." "How did you survive it?" Wanda asked despite herself. "I accepted that some things can't be changed, that the past is immutable no matter how much we wish otherwise. And I chose to honor her memory by protecting others who needed help." He met her eyes. "Your children may be beyond your reach, Wanda Maximoff, but you can still choose who you become in their absence. You can still honor their memory by being someone they'd be proud of." "You don't understand," Wanda said bitterly. "I created them. I made them from my own chaos magic. They only existed because I willed them into being. And then reality took them away because I wasn't strong enough to maintain the illusion. How do I honor that? How do I accept that I failed them so completely?" The Jedi was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was gentle. "Perhaps by accepting that they were real, that the love you shared was real, even if the circumstances of their birth were unusual. That grief is the price we pay for love. And love, even love that ends in loss, is never wasted." Wanda wanted to scream at him, wanted to argue that he was wrong, that she could still fix this if she just had enough power, but she was so tired. Tired of searching, tired of killing, tired of becoming something monstrous in pursuit of an impossible goal. "I don't know how to stop," she admitted. "I've done terrible things, hurt innocent people, served an empire I despise. I don't know how to walk away from all of that without it meaning they died for nothing." "They didn't die," the Jedi said firmly. "They were part of you. They're still part of you. And as long as you live, as long as you remember them with love instead of consuming grief, they endure." He stood, offering his hand. "Come with us. Leave the Empire. We can help you find a different path, one that doesn't require you to sacrifice your soul." For a moment, one brief, shining moment, Wanda almost took his hand. Then the cavern exploded. The blast was massive, shaking the entire temple structure. Wanda and the Jedi were thrown to the floor as debris rained down around them. Through the dust and chaos, Wanda heard the distinctive scream of TIE fighters overhead, followed by the thunder of orbital bombardment. "No," she whispered. "No, I gave them time." Vader's voice crackled through her comlink. "The Emperor learned of the sanctuary's location. He has ordered its complete destruction. All personnel are to be terminated. These orders come directly from Coruscant." Wanda staggered to her feet, reaching out with her hybrid senses. The sanctuary, the children, she could feel them trying to evacuate through secret tunnels, but the bombardment was collapsing the exits. They were trapped. "Stop the attack!" Wanda screamed into the comlink. "Call it off." "I cannot. The Emperor is personally overseeing this operation. He wishes to make an example of those who defy the Empire and to test your loyalty." Vader's mechanical breathing filled the pause. "If you truly serve the Empire, you will not interfere." Wanda's mind raced. This was Palpatine's real test. Not whether she could hunt Force sensitives, but whether she cared more about finding her children than about protecting others. He was forcing her to choose between the mission and her humanity. The human Jedi Master was already running back toward the sanctuary, his lightsaber ignited, determined to save whatever children he could. Wanda could let him go, could walk away, could preserve her position in the Empire and continue her search with their resources. Or she could fight. The choice crystallized with perfect clarity. Wanda's hands began to glow, not just with scarlet chaos magic, but with something else too. The light side of the Force, drawn to her desperation to protect innocence, began to resonate with her power for the first time. The dark side and light side shouldn't be able to coexist in one person, but Wanda's chaos magic didn't care about shouldn't. It rewrote the rules. "I'm done," Wanda said into the comlink. "Tell the Emperor I quit." She exploded upward through the temple ruins, her hybrid power tearing through rock and stone like tissue paper. She emerged on the surface to find a squadron of TIE bombers making another pass, preparing to drop proton torpedoes that would collapse the entire underground complex. Wanda thrust her hands skyward and reality obeyed. The TIE bombers simply stopped existing, rewritten out of causality by chaos magic operating at full power. The orbital bombardment from the Star Destroyer above hit an invisible barrier of crystallized probability and dispersed harmlessly. Wanda reached down into the collapsing temple with telekinetic force power and stabilized the structure, holding tons of rock suspended through sheer will. "Children," she called out, her voice amplified by the Force, "head for the southern exit. I'm holding the temple stable. Move now." Through the Force, she felt them responding, the Jedi Masters herding the children toward safety, their fear transforming into desperate hope. Wanda poured everything she had into maintaining the barrier and stabilizing the ruins, her hybrid power burning through her reserves at an unsustainable rate. Above her, the Star Destroyer began charging its primary weapons. Vader's voice crackled one final time through the comlink. "You have made your choice. The Emperor will not forgive this betrayal. You are now an enemy of the Empire." "Good," Wanda snarled. "I was getting tired of pretending to be a villain." The Star Destroyer fired. Lance of green turbo-laser energy capable of leveling cities stabbed down from orbit, aimed directly at the temple. Wanda met it with everything she had. Chaos magic and dark side power and newly awakened light side energy, all fused into a shield of pure, impossible will. The energies collided with a sound like reality screaming. For 10 seconds, that felt like eternity. Wanda held. The turbo-laser bombardment hammered against her shield, trying to overwhelm her, to burn through her defenses and annihilate everything below. But Wanda had rewritten reality before. Had created an entire town from nothing, had torn through dimensional barriers with chaos magic alone. She was the Scarlet Witch, and she was done letting the universe take things from her. The turbo-laser barrage broke against her shield and dissipated. Wanda stood in the smoking crater her defense had created, breathing hard, her entire body glowing with crackling energy. Behind her, she felt the last of the children emerge from the southern exit, the Jedi Masters guiding them toward hidden ships. They were going to make it, all of them. Wanda let the shield drop and collapsed to her knees, utterly spent. The Star Destroyer was repositioning for another bombardment, but she had bought enough time. The sanctuary was evacuated, the children were safe, and she had finally definitively chosen who she was going to be. The human Jedi Master appeared beside her, supporting her as she swayed with exhaustion. "Why?" he asked. "Why risk everything for children who aren't yours?" "Because they're someone's," Wanda said simply. "And I know what it's like to lose your children. I won't let another parent feel that pain. Not if I can stop it." She felt something shift inside her then. Some fundamental realignment of her soul. The dark side was still there, woven into her being by weeks of corruption. But the light side was there too now, called forth by her choice to protect rather than destroy. The two sides of the Force swirled around her chaos magic, no longer fighting for dominance but existing in strange, impossible balance. Wanda Maximoff had become something new. Not Jedi, not Sith, but something in between. A chaos witch who wielded both light and dark, bound by neither philosophy, constrained only by her own choices. "Come with us," the Jedi Master urged. "The rebellion can protect you, hide you from the Empire's retribution." Wanda shook her head. "No, the Empire has resources I still need. Intelligence networks, databases, search capabilities I can't replicate alone." She stood on shaking legs. "I'm not done looking for my children, but I'm also not going to become a monster while I search. I'll find another way, a better way. The Emperor will hunt you now. Vader will be sent to kill you." "Let them try," Wanda said, her eyes blazing with renewed determination. "I've faced worse than Palpatine, and if Vader comes for me, we'll see whose grief makes them stronger." She watched the Jedi Master retreat with the children, their ships lifting off and disappearing into Tython's storm-racked sky. Then she turned her attention to the Star Destroyer, hovering overhead, its weapons charging for another strike. Wanda smiled grimly. She had spent weeks learning how the Empire functioned, how its technology worked, how its dark side users thought. Now she was going to use all of that knowledge against them. She reached up with her chaos magic and rewrote the probability governing the Star Destroyer's hyperdrive, made it inevitable that the safety interlocks would fail, that the containment fields would collapse, that the ship would have no choice but to make an emergency jump to hyperspace or risk complete reactor meltdown. The Star Destroyer's engines flared. With a flash of pseudo-motion, it vanished into hyperspace, running from her, fleeing before her power. Wanda stood alone in the ruins of the Jedi Temple, breathing hard, her mind already planning her next move. She had made an enemy of the Galactic Empire. She had betrayed Vader's trust. She had failed to find Billy and Tommy. But she had also saved dozens of innocent children, had chosen mercy over expedience, had proven to herself that she was still capable of heroism. Even here, even now, the search for her sons would continue. But she would do it on her own terms, walking the knife's edge between light and dark, between hero and villain, between Wanda Maximoff and the Scarlet Witch. She would search every corner of this galaxy if necessary, but she would do it without sacrificing her soul. And if the Empire stood in her way, if Palpatine, Vader, or anyone else tried to stop her, they would learn what happened when you made an enemy of someone who could rewrite reality itself. Wanda Maximoff had come to the Star Wars galaxy searching for her lost children. She hadn't found them, but she had found something else, a purpose beyond grief, a reason to fight beyond personal loss. She would protect the innocent from the Empire's darkness, search for her sons with every resource she could muster, and forge her own path through this strange new galaxy. The rebellion would call her an ally. The Empire would call her a traitor. The Jedi would call her dangerous. The Sith would call her an abomination. She didn't care what they called her. She was the Scarlet Witch, and her story in this galaxy was just beginning. The hologram flickered to life in the Emperor's throne room on Coruscant. Palpatine watched with yellowed eyes as the report unfolded, the Tython sanctuary destroyed, but all targets escaped. The Star Destroyer Devastator forced into emergency hyperspace retreat, and one extremely problematic Chaos Witch, now classified as a rogue element. "Interesting," Palpatine hissed. "Most interesting indeed." Beside the throne, Vader stood silent, his mechanical breathing the only sound. He had failed to control Wanda Maximoff, failed to keep her compliant. The Emperor would expect penance for this failure. "She is more powerful than we anticipated," Vader said finally, "and more unpredictable. Her chaos magic combined with force sensitivity creates a weapon unlike any other," Palpatine finished. "Yes, I felt her touch both the dark side and the light simultaneously, an impossibility, yet she achieved it. Such power could reshape the galaxy itself." His withered face split into a terrible smile. "We will not hunt her, Lord Vader, not yet. Instead, we will watch. We will learn. And when she is at her most desperate, when she has exhausted every other option in her futile search, we will offer her a choice. Join us completely, embrace the dark side without reservation, and gain power sufficient to rewrite reality itself, or be destroyed." "And if she chooses destruction," Vader asked, "then we will have eliminated a threat. But I do not believe she will choose that path. Grief such as hers is a hook buried deep in the soul. It can be used. She can be turned." Palpatine's smile widened. "In time, the Scarlet Witch will become our greatest asset, or our ultimate weapon. Either way, the Empire benefits." Across the galaxy, in a stolen shuttle fleeing toward the Outer Rim, Wanda Maximoff stared at the stolen Imperial data drives she'd taken from Vader's fortress before her escape. Intelligence on every known Force-sensitive child in the galaxy, locations of hidden rebel cells, Sith holocrons containing forbidden knowledge about reality manipulation. She had lost her position in the Empire but gained so much more: freedom to act on her own terms, intelligence resources to continue her search, and most importantly, proof that she could still choose to be a hero when it mattered. Billy and Tommy were out there somewhere. Or they weren't. Either way, Wanda would find the truth, and until she did, she would walk the line between light and dark, protecting the innocent while hunting for her lost children. The galaxy had been forever changed by her arrival. The Scarlet Witch had become a legend whispered in both rebel and imperial circles, a chaos witch who could rewrite reality, who served no faction but her own heart, who wielded both dark and light in impossible harmony. Some would seek her out as an ally, others would hunt her as a threat, but all would learn the same lesson: never stand between a mother and her children, not even if you command empires, wield the Force, or believe yourself master of the galaxy. The Scarlet Witch's search had only just begun, and before it ended, the entire Star Wars galaxy would be remade in ways no one could predict. May the Force be with you. More stories await.